Ballpark cam turned on
Spice in trouble.
in Citi Field, where the Mets are going for a sweep of the Marlins and their 7th win in a row in a game that will be underway in just a few minutes. Demp, what has impressed you the most about the Mets over this stretch?
Yeah, pitching. I mean, look at the guy throwing today, 2-0 with a .87. You know, you have no Sean Manaea, and you think that's going to hurt you, but their pitching staff's been unbelievable. Carbon hitters, their bullpen's been so solid. Obviously, Diaz at the back end. They're just now starting to score runs, and you know they broke out in a big way yesterday. But I just think when you've got off to this good of a start with your pitching staff, having a healthy Kodai Senga back is huge. So, yeah, they're throwing the rock right now.
Let's be honest. That's what sets the tone, Ryan. When you stood on that mound as a starting pitcher, you had your slider and your fastball. You give us a chance to win games. So it goes back to the dudes on the mound. And then you throw in, obviously, the Polar Bears and the Francisco Lindors who gets off to just a quick, slow start. But this game of baseball is so fun to watch, all these ups and downs. But they're pitching. And they're a team that plans on winning the World Series. And they're a team that right now is won 6 in a row. They're 8-3. So. But they're a team coming in this year. They're winning the World Series. You signed the big Juan Soto thing. He makes everybody around him better. Francisco Lindor can now take a deep breath. It's not like, Pete comes back. Maybe if he didn't hit that home run off against Williams in Milwaukee, was Pete back? Who knows, right? It's a big home run there in Milwaukee. Gets back with a couple-year deal and $56 million. I was thinking maybe, somewhere else, and he's back. So this team is now got some experience together. When I talk about the nucleus together, and now they got to figure out a way to get over the hump. But they kind of are going to remind me a little bit of like the Astros' little run, because it's like you don't want to give them a whole lot of credit. You always talk about the Yankees. Now they got beards now, but now we're talking about torpedoes and home runs. But the Metsies, it's time to stay focused. And you stay right here, and I think they plan on winning the World Series. But right now their hot start is they're pitching, Ryan. They give them a shot to win every night.
Yeah, and they gutted it out, right? Because you guys don't know this, but it's freezing here. It's so cold here.
Snowy.
Here too. Chicago's cold. I'm building snowmen.
Not here.
Speaking of Chicago, Ballpark Cam taking us to Wrigley Field, where the Rangers and Cubs look to wrap up their 3-game set Wednesday afternoon. Tyler Mahle taking on Shota Imanaga. Kevin, FanDuel has the Cubs as the favorites to win the Central. How convinced are you that the Northsiders are the best team in their division?
Well, I'm convinced that, and then we'll probably get into this a little bit, but Kyle Tucker's a way better player than people think. And I'm convinced that Craig Counsell, once he puts his fingers down, we were teammates with Craig. We'd like to call him Rudy because he had a home plate touch there a couple years in. But this is another interesting team. I don't know yet how many games that this team's going to win. I can give you an idea. Should they win the Central? Once we saw the Brewers pitching, that wasn't fair. They had to start off with the Yankees. So then it's like that team's been the darling of that division. And everybody's kind of hoped the last few years. And everybody's going to hope that the Cubs and the Cardinals and, let's go with this rivalry. Pirates kind of show you, then they fall off, right? They show you, then they fall off. I'll tell you this. The Cubs, I'm convinced, might establish their, digging in on a 2-0 count in this division. Because it's a little bit in transition. I don't know where the Reds are going to be. I don't know if that offense can, hit. We don't know. We'll see. But the Cubbies, this is a good time for them to put the eye to the tiger and go like, yeah, I'm digging in on a 2-0 count. And let's take this because it's a good opportunity. Life's about timing. Right now, they're in this little swing with the Cardinals and all of the teams that we talked about. They should believe they're the best.
Yeah, and this is a team to me that's doing the little things right now. Pitching-wise hasn't been that great. Justin Steele had a great outing. We'll get into him a little bit later, but he had a great outing 2 nights ago. And then last night, Jameson Taillon did a great job. What they've done, and I was at both games yesterday, is they are doing these little tiny things very well right now that are winning ball games. They're getting the runner over. They're getting the runner in. They're stealing bases. They've stolen 25 of 26 stolen bases. They lead Major League Baseball in stolen bases. They've only been thrown out 1. Pete Crow Armstrong gets on base, he's gone. John Birdie the other night, what did he do? He got hit by a pitch. He stole second. He stole third. Then he makes a great read on a ball home to make it a 2-0 lead. I think these little things that they're doing, in between that, they have Kyle Tucker, who's playing like an MVP right now and scorching the baseball. Seiya Suzuki's hitting the ball hard. Dansby Swanson's already got 4 home runs. So those little things amongst their offense, but they're putting up a lot of runs. And, they almost swept the Padres. If they didn't drop the ball at first base, Justin Turner dropped the ball at first base, they might have won that game too. So they're playing really good baseball right now, and I think the longer that keeps up, the more they become the favorite for this division.
And they've been beating teams by a large margin. Cubs right now with a +32 run differential. And it seems like injury news was coming across the wire every time we looked up over the past 48 hours. Jackson Merrill straining a hamstring. Fernando Tatis Jr. leaving the game with shoulder discomfort. Wyatt Langford with right side tightness. Ryan, of all the injuries that have popped up lately, Which one stands out to you as the most alarming?
Yeah, those Padre ones are interesting. I know that because those are two guys who won the lineup. But I'm going to go back, onto the north side of Chicago, and this just came out recently. Justin Steele going down with left elbow tendonitis. And the reason I bring this up is there's not a lot of minor league depth in the starters. There is some, don't get me wrong. But like when you're losing a guy like this, who's one of the premier left-handed starters in your rotation, you hope it's just for a short period of time, a couple turns in the rotation. But I always worry, and it concerns me when you do things, and as great as it is for the game, when we're moving up the schedule for guys to go to Japan and get ready a little bit earlier than they're normally used to, sometimes some of those lingering effects. So hopefully this is a little bit of tendonitis, you get some anti-inflammatories, some treatment, a little bit of massage in there, and you get yourself back to right. But he just threw 7 unbelievably strong innings. Cold weather, maybe that plays a part too. But, for the Cubs, the pitching's been a struggle so far, so you can't lose a guy like this in your rotation. You want him out there every 5th day, and that one stings for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tatis. I love watching this kid play baseball. I really do. I think his body moves different. It's just like this big rubber band. We've seen some injuries with him that kind of bum out baseball. This shoulder thing, the side tightnesses and then the hamstrings and stuff, but these shoulders, like I don't want to see this for the Padres, right? They're at top of the West right now. The Dodgers, we've talked about them enough. We understand what kind of franchise that is. If you're the Padres, you're like, we have to get over these Dodgers, and this might be the year for them to do it. Tatis's injury, I don't want to see shoulders. Shoulders get like cranky. Shoulders do everything. You're fielding, you're hitting, you're throwing, and it's just like, as we get older, we got like shoulder stuff, right? There's like labrums and like bicep tendonitis, which some people, sorry, I'm not flexing, but some people that bicep tendonitis, they think it's like here. It just comes up here. Sorry, that wasn't a big deal. I just feel really good right now.
You got tattoos? I never knew that. No, yeah, that shoulder thing scares me too because that's something that he's dealt with before, right? He's already had that. They talk about him finishing with 2 hands on his swing to relieve that shoulder injury that he had before, so you don't want that flaring back up. It could be something that ends up lingering the whole season long, affects his power numbers, his ability to go get the ball. So, yeah, it's definitely scary when you have injuries like that.
Yeah, that shoulder that is bothering him, too. It's the same shoulder he had surgery on in 2022. Let's mix it up, guys. Something fun before we head to break.
Ooh, nice.
This has often been chronicled, but Max Fried, Lucas Giolito, Jack Flaherty were all high school teammates back at Harvard Westlake in 2012. All 3 often show up for one another. Fried attended the last World Series game or one of Jack Flaherty's starts to watch him. And this afternoon, for the first time ever, Flaherty and Fried will face off in the big leagues. Deb, can you imagine? Can you even imagine facing your high school teammate in the show?
I think it's obviously, hey, huge testament and hats off to their high school. The fact that they continue to produce guys like this. But, that's your boy, man. Like Kevin and I got to face each other on the backfield with the Cubs, and he circled all the pillows on an inside cutter I tried to lock him up on, and it didn't work out. But to sit here and match up at the big leagues, essentially, they're not by blood, but they're brothers, man. These guys have been through it together. They support each other. They show up when the other guy's pitching in the playoffs. And I guarantee you the bragging rights, I want to know truthfully what the bet is. There's got to be something that that's on the line, that's served me dinner for the entire offseason. I don't know what it is, but this is cool. This is special stuff. I hope both of these guys get to enjoy this moment a little bit when it's all said and done, because this is a remarkable kind of thing that we're seeing. You don't see this very often.
Yeah, it's almost like the Brian McCann and Mark Teixeira scene, right? Like, dad and mom marry each other so that, they're stepbrothers. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. Like, you have 2 dudes, I think Teixeira hit over 405+ home runs, and B-Mac, is to me a Hall of Fame catcher, was catching the show. And so they have this little bet. If you beat me in golf, you're serving me Thanksgiving dinner, right? So at the end of the day, I want the white towel over, and you're serving Thanksgiving dinner when mom and dad are here, and we're here as a family. It's Brian McCann and Mark Teixeira. Yeah, so there's always something. So I agree with you, Dempy. It's awesome. And just to have high school teammates play in the big leagues, it's these stories that go on and on. It's like, wow, how cool is that? Let alone get a guy drafted out of high school, you make it to the show, and then here we are in the show facing each other. Really cool stuff, and the support they give each other is cool because there's no that jealousy stuff. You're here to support your buddies, your brothers, your blood, whatever you want to call it. Just like we're here to support Sierra.
Sure, 100%. But you guys said that you never faced off in the show, but you did face off in Studio 42.
Oh, this was a big one.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, the head hunting. It was a little aggressive. I get it. A fake teeth
later
and
on,
he hit me.
still that kind of command. And then you backlegged me right there.
Did I eat myself in that jersey? It looks like I ate myself. Mixing a salad with lemon wedge.
No, you don't look big boned at all, Kevin. It was just the oversized jersey.
Steele.
Yeah, it was a big. Those were big jerseys. They did not fit. Those were way too big.
How about the starter for the Philadelphia Phillies, Taijuan Walker? Does he have a chance to work his way out to the DP top 25?
I don't. The top
His
20,
first start was really good,
Top
man.
25 is a hard list to crack, but I'll tell you what, I really feel for this guy. He's kind of been the forgotten guy in Philadelphia. Left off the postseason roster a couple of years ago. It's not been a very good go for him. Some struggles, not consistently enough getting a chance to start. When they made the acquisition of Jesus Luzardo, that kind of spelled doom for him being part of the starting rotation. But boy, did he throw terrific in his last game. And it's been a rough go, but I will say this. The Philly faithful can be awfully hard, awfully demanding, but they gave him a rousing ovation when he came off the mound.
And do you know why that was? That last start, his first start of the year, was his first win since May 11th of 2024. Harold, he was 0-7 with a 7.75 ERA in the 16 games, which included 12 starts between wins. And is that his fault? Yes, he has to be accountable for the inability of getting people out. But the Philadelphia Phillies didn't exactly put him in a welcoming environment. Left off postseason rosters.
Yeah.
Like Dan said, getting other starting pitchers in the offseason because they just don't know what they have in this guy they gave over $70 million to. We're dealing with human beings. And you could see that his confidence took a major hit since he became a Philadelphia Philly.
Well, I mean, you work to be on a playoff roster, right? That's a big blow. And all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to be here.
Right.
You know, you don't want me here. So I give him some credit for like, okay, I'm going to toughen up. I'm going to show you what I can do. Now, you got to throw better. I'm sorry. It wasn't like he lost some games 2-1, didn't get offense,
Right.
and things like that. When you have a 7 ERA, you got to be better if you're going to stand up and say, I'm not putting up with this. So maybe that's his mindset. I'll put some numbers up. I'll force their hand because I'm on a playoff team that I'm going to be on this playoff roster this year.
It's going to be interesting when Ranger Suarez does come back. What will they do? If he keeps pitching well, that's his goal, is to make it a difficult decision for Dave Dombrowski.